The Clarendon leg of the GIS Heritage School Tour was superb. And this week during School Zone, we bring you highlights from schools in Kingston, St. Andrew and St. Catherine. Also in this half-hour package, a tribute to the late Randy Williams and his contribution to Jamaica's cultural landscape. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay with us as we journey through this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica. Original.
Good day, I'm Samantha Allen, and this is your GIS News for Friday, November 8. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has assured business leaders in Japan that Jamaica is open for investment. She was speaking at a Latin America and Caribbean Business Forum hosted by the Inter-American Development Bank and the Japanese government. Mrs. Simpson Miller pitched investment opportunities in tourism and public-private partnership infrastructure programs, such as the expansion of the 2 international airports and the build-out of Highway 2000.
I would urge you business leaders to explore the potential developments which are possible.
The Prime Minister also called on the Japanese businessmen to buy into the proposed Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The goal is to develop Jamaica as a logistics hub will be pursued on several fronts. The Montego Bay Airport, as I mentioned earlier, the Kingston Container Terminal, which is amongst the largest in the Caribbean, will be privatized and expanded. There are also plans to construct another major transshipment port linked to an economic zone through an investment of US $1.5 billion.
Mrs. Simpson Miller assured the entrepreneurs that their investments would be safe due to Jamaica's liberal foreign exchange market and the high standards of legal and administrative systems. Meanwhile, ahead of her trip to Japan, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller made another call for more highly skilled workers to join the public sector. Pointing to the public sector's importance to economic development, Mrs. Simpson Miller said it was crucial to attract and maintain highly trained and efficient workers.
I therefore encourage young persons leaving our academic institutions to consider a career in the public service.
The Prime Minister was speaking at a dinner in honor of retired Chairman, President and CEO of the Port Authority of Jamaica, Noel Hilton. It may soon be mandatory for developers to include rainwater harvesting capabilities as part of any domestic water supply system they provide for housing developments. Government's rainwater harvesting policy already requires persons undertaking developments to provide their own domestic water where there is no connection to a central system. Water Minister Robert Pickersgill says the policy will be strengthened to make allowances for rainwater harvesting whether they are connected to the central water supply system or not.
Small-scale storage at the household level, decentralized harvesting and storage of rainfall are some of the components of this new rainwater harvesting policy. It therefore decreases the demand on the public water supply infrastructure and systems and saves money on our water bills.
Minister Pickersgill was speaking at the recent handing over ceremony for new rainwater harvesting infrastructure in the community of Pleasant Valley, Clarendon. As part of that project, 40 residents, including 10 children, were also trained in watershed management. Drafting instructions for the Strategic Laws and Reform of Local Governance Act have been given to the Chief Parliamentary Council following Cabinet's approval recently. The Act will amend existing legislation to give greater power to parish councils and other local authorities.
Local government is the most responsive level of government, and as such, we are charged with the responsibility to ensure that better services are available to our citizens.
Minister R. Scott made the announcement while speaking at a church service to launch November as Local Government and Community Month under the theme A Prosperous Economy Begins with My Community. Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Roger Clark is challenging Jamaicans to consume more local foods and less imported items. As the island celebrates November's Eat Jamaican Month, the Agriculture Minister is insisting that the country must find a way to cut its high food import bill.
It is unsustainable. We can't borrow money to buy food from abroad. And that is what is causing the dollar to be sliding. One of the causes. We cannot continue on that path. In terms of health and well-being, our local foods is better to be eaten. Sometimes more expensive, but in the long run, it is better for your health.
Minister Clark was speaking on Wednesday at the launch of the Eat Jamaica Day celebrations. And finally, the Education Ministry has launched a pilot school feeding menu as part of its thrust to standardize the school feeding menu in the nation's schools.
Our Minister of Education, he wants to ensure that we are providing nutritious meals that will stimulate the learning of our students.
The pilot is taking place in the ministry's Region 1 area, which incorporates schools in Kingston and St. Andrew. It will run for a year. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Samantha Allen. Thanks for watching.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub. A topical subject on the minds of many Jamaicans. What exactly is the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative?
Logistics is the process by which businesses manage the flow of goods, services, people, information, energy, and other resources through the entire supply chain from source to end users.
The various components of the hub will allow Jamaica to capitalize on the increased trade expected to flow through the region when the Panama Canal expansion is completed in 2016.
We are not saying by that all of the project would have been finished. We are saying that there is a core set of projects and programs that must be implemented.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub, a plan in action to increase trade and grow the economy.
Some schools in Kingston, St. Andrew and St. Catherine played host to the JIS as round 2 of the Heritage School Tour continued. Poetry, dance and songs stole the spotlight. Watch this.
JIS continues its Heritage School Tour visits, and today we give you highlights as we delve into our rich Jamaican history. Stick around and stay for the fun.
2 weeks, 6 parishes, and 15 schools. The JIS Heritage Tour blazed its trail across Jamaica. Last week, we showed you the fantastic time we had in Clarendon, and this week we showcase institutions in the parishes of St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew. The first stop in St. Catherine was the Jonathan Grant High School, where staff and students were determined to highlight that the institution was thriving despite being in volatile surroundings.
We want to show the rest of Jamaica that Jonathan Grant High School is standing on a sound foundation because we are strong Jamaicans, we are strong people.
We learned that the school is giving its 2,300 student body that firm foundation through interventions like its automotive program recently introduced to the curriculum. But Jonathan Grant is more than academics. Culture is very much alive at this St. Catherine High School.
Just the best.
The GIS team agreed and presented the school with material to keep the heritage alive at the institution.
I am strongly elated that you guys came, and it is a great privilege to have you here sharing with us. I've learned that the heroes played a main part in our heritage, and because of them we are free today. They fought for our freedom and died for it, so I'm grateful for them also.
Our food and music, I see why the tourists love to visit Jamaica, because we're Akian, we're saltfish, we're jankuno, we're reggae, everything about our island beautiful.
My name is Deborah Smith, and keep watching School Zone on Jamaica Magazine.
Next highlight from the St. Catherine leg was the Kitson All-Age School. Lord, what a night, what a night. Remember that song?
Oh Lord, what a night, what a night, what a Saturday night. Lord, what a night, what a night, what a Saturday night.
Over in Kingston and St. Andrew, the GIS team had a blast. It was a lesson of history in the city, and the students of the schools that the team visited showed that despite living in the city, they clearly knew their roots. At the Jessery Paul Primary School, students were excited to meet Human Resource Manager for the GIS, Mrs. Bernita Locke, who the school's pavilion is named after, for her contribution as a past student. The team shared in the heritage experience with history lessons from some notable figures and entertaining poetry performances.
My name is George William Gordon, and I was born in 1820 to a slave mother and a planter father. I was mostly self-educated and a landowner in the parish of St. Thomas. I urge the people to protest against and resist the oppressive and unjust conditions under which they were forced to live.
Will you push look for sword and dumpling? You don't want to hear me cuss. You must think of Uncle you are not forgetting other words. Well, at last my managed to get in. But something smells. Somebody got the bus that eat touch pork and a piece of rotten pear. Must start friends of tears. Me got figure. But when we look up and realize there was under somebody's arm, it's one is nice that she the farm, the one like foreigner, because her sister Urban get one job a Mona. You want hear her cut Spanish, like she just come out from sea. That is them boys start to call her Israel and refugee. So the morning, we go ask her, what she think about the war? She give out, I think the war is muy malo mar. So that she can't from no more panties, senorita. For me no say, she understand with Jamaican patois. Ay, ay, ay. This is Western Hall Primary, and you're watching School Zone.
In the parish of St. Andrew, we shared with students at the Liberty Academy, and our final stop was with the Vibes students at the Arden High School.
Our heritage is indeed our strength, and that much was displayed by the students we met. Join us next Friday for our final roundup of our Jazz Heritage School Tour visits. I'm Carrie Ann Smith in the Cool Zone for School Zone.
And next week, we will conclude our series with a visit to 2 schools in Portland.
Play is very important to the development of children. It allows them to use their creativity and develop their imagination. Through play, children interact with the world around them, They learn how to work in groups, share and resolve conflicts.
They learn rules and they learn about respecting others and waiting turns and setting their own rules and guidelines for their game.
Set limits, but allow your children to play. It will help them develop the confidence and resilience needed to conquer future challenges.
Ranny Williams, or Mas Ran as he's affectionately called, would have celebrated his 101st birthday on October 26. Scores of persons turned out to celebrate the life and works of the cultural icon who helped to shape Jamaica's theatre industry.
Welcome to another edition of the Arts Page. We're here today to celebrate the life and work of a distinguished Jamaican cultural icon, the late Ranny Williams. So come on, join us.
Feel me love have a lion heart. Feel me love have a lion heart.
The event is being staged by the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, the JCDC, which is also celebrating 50 years of unearthing, showcasing, developing, and promoting Jamaica's rich cultural heritage. We're joined by Stephen Davidson, the Director of Marketing and Public Relations at the JCDC. Welcome, Mr. Davidson.
Thank you. How are you?
Tell us, why are you staging this event?
Well, the JCDC is celebrating 50 years this year, and so as a part of our celebrations, we wanted to take the opportunity to highlight some of our icons who have contributed to our culture and our development.
And tell us a little about Ranny Williams, for those of us who do not know.
Well, Ranny Williams is described as a man for all seasons. He was a dramatist, a comedian, an actor, you name it, he has done it.
Randolph Samuel Williams, or Mas Ran as he came to be known to Jamaicans, was born on October 26, 1912 in Colon, Panama to Jamaican parents. He moved to Jamaica when he was 6 years old. Through the nurturing of his maternal grandmother, who was a Maroon, Ranny Williams developed an appreciation for Jamaica's folklore and expressed it through the theatre and comedy. His music teacher mother also provided a platform for young Ranny Williams to perform songs and skits across the island. As for education,
he attended actually the Kingston Technical High School and Calabar, and he started working with Marcus Garvey.
As a young adult, Ranny Williams was employed by Jamaica's first national hero, Marcus Messiah Garvey, to be a member of the vaudeville group. The group organized and entertained thousands locally and internationally who attended the meetings of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, the UNIA.
And then he moved on to work with Miss Lou in over 29 pantomimes, and he also translated into films as well.
The first stage performance of Mas Ran and Miss Lou was the 1949 pantomime, Bluebird and Bra Nancy. The immense laughter and magic created on stage by Mas Ran and Miss Lou went on for a few decades until his death in 1980. The theatre wasn't the only arena where Ranny Williams shined. He was also a radio and a television broadcaster and a film actor. Mas Ran died after suffering a heart attack. He was 67 years old. The government of Jamaica recognized the indelible contribution made by Mas Ran and bestowed on him several honors, including a Badge of Honor, a Musgrave Silver Medal, and the Order of Distinction Commander Class. Mas Ran now rests with the builders of Jamaica Land We Love at the National Heroes Park, a fitting place for a man who greatly enriched the lives of Jamaicans and Jamaica. JCDC's recent tribute celebration to the legacy of Mas Ran began with exhibitions from a number of agencies, including multimedia presentations showcasing the life and works of the cultural icon. The informative exhibition was followed up by a cultural dialogue on Mas Ran's work and legacy involving Dr. Brian Heap, Alma Mokyen, and the 2013 Festival Queen Crystal Tomlinson.
Celebrate Mas Ran's birthday today.
Let them laugh at his jokes and get more intimate with him.
The duet between Miss Lou and Mas Ran.
He loved to hear people laugh and his incredible control of space.
The event hit its summit with a performing arts concert.
Stand firm and keep the faith, oh, your reward shall be great.
Charge upon your telephone, tell him what you need, tell him what you need, tell him what you need.
Remember when me used to learn my ABC. Remember when me used to learn my 1, 2, 3. Me say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O.
Z.
Man, I just can't get it.
Today, many Jamaicans turned out to celebrate the life and work of a true Jamaican gem, the late Ranny Williams. And like myself, they've left with a deeper understanding and appreciation of Jamaica's rich cultural heritage. Until next time, this has been The Arts Page.
Feel me love have a lion heart. Feel me love have a lion heart. Strong and everlasting. Uncle Feo.
Later, Master.
Bamboo growers, companies involved in the manufacturing of bamboo products. Get registered with the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. The BSJ is a member of the International Network for Bamboo and Rattan, and the government of Jamaica wants to develop a standard-led bamboo industry that could lead to job creation and economic growth. Companies, your products could be stamped with the regionally recognized Jamaica-made mark certification and the National Certification Mark. Get registered and receive quality training and international certification. For more information, call the Bureau's Special Projects Department at 926-3140 or visit the BSJ at 6 Winchester Road, Kingston 10.
It's not enough to just put aside some money for a rainy day. One also has to put that money to work so that interest can be made on the principal. That's where investment comes in. Some options next.
If my food bill now stands at $10,000, how much will it cost in the next 10 years?
I usually get $30 a day to go to school. Now I have to give my child $300 per day. Cost of living has really increased, you know.
We all at times put a little something down for a rainy day, no matter how small it is, not true? But what do you do when that saving reaches a particular amount? While you're contemplating that, let me just say that a part of being sensible involves getting a reasonable return on your money. But how do you do that? Investing.
Investing is when an individual sets aside funds for the future, and it can be medium term or long term, and sometimes even for the short term, depending on what investments they make.
In essence, you put aside money for a period of time in a bid to make a profit. It's making your money work for you. If you're not that business savvy, you need to get advice from an experienced investor or financial institution so that they can give you ideas as to what your portfolio should look like. But make sure the financial institution is licensed to give advice. Check with the Financial Services Commission, FSC, which also regulates the investment sector. A few tips now on what your advisor may need to know.
They ask a few questions, really just to get to what your investing style is and to come up with a portfolio that you can feel comfortable with.
You also need to know what you're investing towards and your net worth, what you have minus what you owe.
They need to know what your risk profile is. I mean, are you the type of person who, jumps out of airplanes and so is willing to take risk in other areas of your life? Or are you someone that would really feel the pinch if your money was to, the value of your investments was to decrease in any period? A unit trust is a collective investment scheme, so it really is a number of persons coming together to buy units in this portfolio. And it is managed by a manager of the unit trust who manages it according to a certain investment policy.
But there are certain questions to consider. Who are the investment managers? What is their track record? What's the purpose of the trust? And are they sticking to their investment policy? There is also the option of mutual funds, which are similar to a unit trust. Bonds are debt instruments, an interest-bearing IOU that you get after you've given the government or a private entity a loan. Bonds are the means by which government and corporations finance their activities.
So you will find that a corporation could come to market, say they are doing some expansion and they want to finance its expansion. And this expansion is going to take 3 years, and they perceive that they're going to get returns over the following 5 years. They may raise a 5-year bond and offer it to the market.
The market will then decide based on the company's creditworthiness if they should buy into that bond. Returns may be paid out based on a timeline stipulated by the company.
Because as long as you hold the bond to maturity and there is no default risk, meaning that the person who issued the bond pays the bond, then you will get whatever return you bought in the bond at.
Some of those rights may include voting on critical issues affecting the company. The more the shares, the more leverage you will have. You can also trade on the stock market. That may require the help of a stockbroker. Trading may also take place on the foreign exchange market. Some types of investments may be more risky than others, so you have to choose what works best for you. It takes patience and commitment. Your investment at times may be volatile, meaning it increases at one point and decreases at another.
Don't panic. There are a lot of persons who have actually recovered even from, say, the crisis that happened in the U.S. stock market and U.S. financial markets in 2008, just by applying the principle of continuing to invest.
And for the skeptics among us who still think investing is a waste of time, think about this.
What is happening to my funds due to inflation and cost of living increases? Will I still be able, with that money, at today's rate, right? Think 10 years time from now, will I be able to buy the same basket of goods that I'm able to buy now? You won't.
Young people, listen up. Just because things aren't going according to plan doesn't mean you should give up on future aspirations. You might have missed the opportunity to apply for a job, but don't murmur about it. Still try to catch that boat. And if it has already sailed, keep an eye out for the next one. Reboot, reframe, get re-energized and come again. And of course, you will have the naysayers, but don't let them get you down. Be an overcomer. November is your month, Youth Month. Speak up about issues affecting you, craft realistic solutions, and confront the challenges head on. The government is at your service. Contact the Ministry of Youth for advice on how to proceed on important issues that affect you. Or research the relevant agency that can provide information to get the job done. Reset the ting and get the courage to do things differently.
Don't forget.
And we've come to the end of this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Thanks for joining us. Come back tomorrow for another great program on this station. You may send comments to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Follow us on Twitter at JISnews and visit our website, jis.gov.jm. Remember, you can change what you can't accept and accept the things you cannot change. Think on that as you start your weekend journey. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.